Robbie the robot and Polly, the polar bear, were best friends in the Arctic. They lived together near a big iceberg where they played games and told stories. One day, while exploring the icy landscapes, they discovered something strange, a magical door. Excitedly, they walked towards it. The door was made of cold metal and had lights that blinked mysteriously. Robbie pressed a button on its side, and it slowly opened with a soft hum. "Where does it lead?" asked Polly curiously as she peeked inside. "Let's find out," replied Robbie cheerfully, stepping through the doorway. Inside, they found themselves in a colorful world filled with flowers and trees. They marveled at all the new sights and sounds. But soon, they noticed that it was getting dark outside their magical door. "We must go back before we get lost," decided Robbie wisely. So they said goodbye to this beautiful place and returned through the portal to their home by the iceberg. As they snuggled together under the stars, Robbie looked at his friend and smiled. "I'm glad we adventured together." Polly nodded in agreement, feeling warm inside knowing she had a true friend like Robbie. "Good night, Polly," whispered Robbie softly before closing his eyes for the night. "Good night, Robbie," replied Polly sleepily, already dreaming about their next adventure together in the magical Arctic landscape. The next day, Robbie and Polly decided to explore more of the Arctic together. They walked hand in hand over the frozen tundra, admiring the beautiful snowflakes that danced around them. Suddenly, they spotted a small cave hidden behind an iceberg. Curious as always, Polly nudged Robbie towards it. Inside, they found a warm glow coming from a mysterious object in the center of the room. As they approached, they saw that it was a large egg made entirely of gold. "What do you think this is?" wondered Polly curiously as she gently touched its smooth surface. "I don't know," replied Robbie thoughtfully, "but let's be careful not to break it." Together, they carefully picked up the egg and brought it back outside into the cold air. They sat down on a nearby rock, admiring their discovery. As they looked at each other in amazement, the egg started to shake slightly, and then, with a soft cracking sound, the top of the egg began to open. Out popped a tiny creature no bigger than a house cat, but with wings like a bird. It had fur as white as fresh snow and eyes that shimmered like diamonds. "Oh my," breathed Polly in wonder. "What is it?" asked Robbie eagerly, approaching cautiously. The creature looked up at them with curiosity before extending its wing in greeting. "I think it wants to play," said Polly with a giggle. And so began an amazing friendship between the robot, the polar bear, and the magical creature from the golden egg. They explored together, laughed together, and learned new things about each other every day. The creature hopped onto Polly's nose, causing her to giggle. It chirped happily before fluttering its wings and taking off into the air. They watched in awe as it flew around them, performing amazing tricks. Suddenly, The creature landed on Robbie's head and began nuzzling his antenna. "Oh, it likes you too," exclaimed Polly with delight. Together, they spent hours playing with their new friend, learning about each other's cultures and traditions. They discovered that despite being so different from each other, they shared a common love for adventure and friendship. As the sun began to set over the Arctic landscape, signaling the end of another wonderful day, Robbie turned to Polly with a warm smile on his face. "Do you know what today meant?" he asked softly. "That we have amazing friends who can fly and make us happy," replied Polly happily. "Yes, exactly," agreed Robbie, nuzzling her gently, and so they went to sleep that night, grateful for the magical creatures they had met in their Arctic home. The next morning, they woke up early to find their feathered friend waiting patiently outside their cave. Together, they set off on another adventure filled with laughter and wonder. They discovered hidden waterfalls cascading down icy cliffs and secret caves full of glittering gems. No matter where they went or what challenges they faced, they always had each other's backs, and even when the snowstorms came and blanketed everything in a fluffy white blanket, they knew they would be warm because they had true friendship to keep them company. As the seasons changed, bringing new colors and life to their world, Robbie and Polly continued exploring with their winged friend. They learned that in the Arctic, friendship could adventure anywhere, over mountains, underwater, or even into outer space. One day, while exploring a particularly icy part of their world, Robbie and Polly discovered something strange. A glowing portal that led to an unknown realm. Their curiosity piqued. They decided to investigate further. As they stepped through the shimmering doorway, they found themselves in a lush jungle filled with exotic birds and colorful flowers. The air was thick with the scent of tropical fruits, and humidity hung heavy in the air. It was unlike anything they had ever seen before. "What do you think this place is?" wondered Polly aloud as she reached out to touch a bright orange butterfly that fluttered by. "I don't know," replied Robbie, his eyes wide with amazement. "But let's explore together and see where it takes us." Together, they wandered through the jungle, marveling at all the new sights and sounds. They discovered hidden waterfalls that cascaded into crystal clear pools, and ancient ruins covered in vines and moss. As the sun began to set over this mysterious land, casting long shadows across their path, they found themselves standing before a towering volcano. "Should we go near it?" asked Polly hesitantly, as she looked up at the smoldering peak. "I think our friend might enjoy it," replied Robbie with a grin, pointing towards their winged companion who had been flying circles around them, chirping excitedly. And so they ventured closer to the volcano, following their feathered friend into the unknown.